everyone. Good evening. Cynthia Gwiazda from the Hagaman Library. So I have some new adult fiction to share with you, available this March. So I'm going to share that with you now. We'll talk about some of our new books. So new March reads for adult fiction. The first book is The Unwilling by John Hart. Gibby's older brothers have already been to war. One died there. The other came back, misunderstood and hard, a decorated killer now freshly released from a 3-year stint in prison. Jason won't speak of the war or of his time behind bars, but he wants a relationship with the younger brother he hasn't known for years. Determined to make that connection, he coaxes Gibby into a day at the lake, long hours of sunshine and whiskey and older women. But the day turns ugly when the four encounter a prison transfer bus on a stretch of empty road. Beautiful but drunk, one of the women taunts the prisoners, leading to a riot on the bus. The woman finds it funny in the moment, but is savagely murdered soon after. Given his violent history, suspicion turns first to Jason, but when the second woman is kidnapped, the police suspect Gibby too. Determined to prove Jason innocent, Gibby must avoid the cops and dive deep into his brother's hidden life, a dark world of heroin, guns, and outlaw motorcycle gangs. What he discovers there is a truth more disturbing than he could have imagined. Not just the identity of the killer and the reasons for Tyra's murder, but the forces that shaped his brother in Vietnam, the reason he was framed, and why the most dangerous man alive wants him back in prison. This is a crime fiction at its most raw, an exploration of family and the past, of prison and war and the indelible marks they leave. That's The Unwilling by John Hart. Girl A by Abigail Dean. Lex Gracie doesn't want to think about her family. She doesn't want to think about growing up in her parents' house of horrors. And she doesn't want to think about her identity as Girl A, the girl who escaped, the eldest sister who freed her older brother and 4 younger siblings. It's been easy enough to avoid her parents. Her father never made it out of the house of horrors he created, and her mother spent the rest of her life behind bars. But when her mother dies in prison and leaves Lex and her siblings the family home, she can't run from her past any longer. Together with her sister Evie, Lex intends to turn the home into a force for good. But first she must come to terms with her siblings and with the childhood they shared. What begins as a propulsive tale of escape and survival becomes a gripping psychological family story about the shifting alliances and betrayals of sibling relationships, about the secrets our siblings keep from themselves and each other, who have each of these siblings become? How do their memories defy or galvanize Lex's own? As Lex pins each sibling down to agree to her family's final act, she discovers how potent the spell of their shared family mythology is, and who among them remains in its thrall and who has truly broken free. For readers of Room and Sharp Objects, this is an absorbing and psychologically immersive novel about a young girl who escapes captivity, but not the secrets that shadow the rest of her life. That's Girl A by Abigail Dean. Bad Habits by Amy Gentry. Claire Mack Woods, a professor enjoying her newfound hotshot status at an academic conference, finally has the acceptance and admiration she has long craved. But at the conference's hotel bar, Mac is surprised to run into a face from a past she'd rather forget. The moneyed, effortlessly perfect Gwendolyn Whitney, Mac's foil, rival, and former best friend. When Gwen moved to town in high school, Claire, then known as Mac, a poor kid from a troubled family who had too much on her plate, saw what it meant to have money, sophistication, culture, the very blueprints to success. Mac had almost nothing except the will to change. Change she did, habitually grinding herself to work as hard as straight A Gwen, even eventually getting admitted into the same elite graduate program as Gwen. But then Mac and Gwen become entangled with the department's power couple professors and compete head to head for a life-changing fellowship. The more twisted the track towards success becomes, the more Mac has to contort herself to stay one step ahead, which deception signals the point of no return. Jackknifing between Mac's world-expanding graduate days and the crucible of the hotel and its unexpected guests, Bad Habits follows Mac's reckoning between her hardscrabble past and tenuous present. What exactly did Mac do to get what she has today, and what will she do to keep it? With taut, powerful prose, Amy Gentry asks how far we'll go to get what we want, and whether we can ever truly leave the past behind. That's Bad Habits by Amy Gentry. The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. Texas, 1921, a time of abundance. The Great War is over. The bounty of the land is plentiful, and America is on the brink of a new and optimistic era. But for Elsa Wolcott, deemed too old to marry, in a time when marriage is a woman's only option, the future seems bleak, until the night she meets Raffaele Martinelli and decides to change the direction of her life. With her reputation in ruin, there's only one respectable choice: marriage to a man she barely knows. By 1934, the world's changed. Millions are out of work, and drought has devastated the Great Plains. Farmers are fighting to keep their land and their livelihoods as crops fail and water dries up and the earth cracks open. Dust storms roll relentlessly across the plains. Everything on the Martinelli farm is dying, including Elsa's tenuous marriage. Each day is a desperate battle against nature and a fight to keep her children alive. In this uncertain and perilous time, Elsa, like so many of her neighbors, must make an agonizing choice: fight for the land she loves or leave it behind and go west to California in search of a better life for her family. The Four Winds is a rich, sweeping novel that stunningly brings to life the Great Depression and the people who lived through it, the harsh realities that divided us as a nation, and the enduring battle between the haves and the have-nots. A testament to hope, resilience, and the strength of the human spirit to survive adversity, The Four Winds is an indelible portrait of America and the American dream, as seen through the eyes of one indomitable woman whose courage and sacrifice will come to define a generation. That's The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. Lone Stars by Justin Diebler. Justin Diebler's Lone Stars follows the arc of 4 generations of a Texan family in a changing America. Julian Warner, a father at last, wrestles with a question his husband posed. What will you tell our son about the people you came from now that they're gone? Finding the answers takes Julian back in time to Eisenhower's immigration border raids, an epistolary love affair during the Vietnam War, crumbling marriages, queer migrations to Cambridge and New York, up to the disorienting polarization of Obama's second term. And in these answers lies a hope that by uncloseting ourselves as immigrants, smart women, queer people, we find power in empathy. That's Lone Stars by Justin Diebler. An Extravagant Death by Charles Finch. London, 1878. With faith in Scotland Yard shattered after a damning corruption investigation, Charles Lennox's detective agency is rapidly expanding. The gentleman sleuth has all the work he can handle, 2 children, and an intriguing new murder case. But when Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli offers him the opportunity to undertake a diplomatic mission for the Queen, Lennox welcomes the chance to satisfy an unfulfilled yearning to travel to America. Arriving in New York, he begins to receive introductions into both its old Knickerbocker society and its new robber baron splendor. Then a shock, the death of the season's most beautiful debutante, who appears to have thrown herself from a cliff. Or was it murder? Lennox's reputation has preceded him to the States, and he is summoned to a magnificent Newport mansion to investigate the mysterious death. What ensues is a fiendish game of cat and mouse. Witty, complex, and tender, An Extravagant Death is Charles Finch's triumphant return to the main storyline of his beloved Charles Lennox series, a devilish mystery, a social drama, and an unforgettable first trip for an Englishman coming to America. That's An Extravagant Death by Charles Finch. The Last Garden in England by Julia Kelly. Present day, Emma Lovett, who has dedicated her career to breathing new life into long neglected gardens, has just been given the opportunity of a lifetime to restore the gardens of the famed Highbury House estate, designed in 1907 by her hero, Venetia Smith. But as Emma dives deeper into the garden's past, she begins to uncover secrets that have long lain hidden. 1907, a talented artist with a growing reputation for her ambitious work, Venetia Smith has carved out a niche for herself as a garden designer to industrialists, solicitors, and bankers looking to show off their wealth with sumptuous country houses. When she is hired to design the gardens of Highbury House, she's determined to make them a triumph, but the gardens and the people she meets promise to change her life forever. 1944, when land girl Beth Pedley arrives at a farm on the outskirts of the village of Highbury, all she wants is to find a place she can call home. Cook Stella Adderton, on the other hand, is desperate to leave Highbury House to pursue her own dreams, and widow Diana Simons, the mistress of the grand house, is anxiously trying to cling to her pre-war life now that her home has been requisitioned and transformed into a convalescent hospital for wounded soldiers. But when war threatens Highbury House's treasured gardens, these three very different women are drawn together by a secret that will last for decades. In this sweeping novel, reminiscent of Kate Morton's The Lake House and Kristen Harmel's The Room on Rue MLA, Julia Kelly explores the unexpected connections that cross time and the special places that bring people together forever. That's The Last Garden in England by Julia Kelly. The Paris Library by Janet Skesley Charles. Paris, 1939. Young and ambitious Odile Sauchet has it all: her handsome police officer beau and a dream job at the American Library in Paris. When the Nazis march into Paris, Odile stands to lose everything she holds dear, including her beloved library. Together with her fellow librarians, Odile joins the resistance with the best weapon she has, books. But when the war finally ends, instead of freedom, Odile tastes the bitter sting of unspeakable betrayal. Montana, 1983. Lily is a lonely teenager looking for adventure in small-town Montana. Her interest is piqued by her solitary, elderly neighbor. As Lily uncovers more about her neighbor's mysterious past, she finds that they share a love of language, the same longings and the same intense jealousy, never suspecting that a dark secret from the past connects them. A powerful novel that explores the consequences of our choices and the relationships that make us who we are, family, friends, and favorite authors. The Paris Library shows that extraordinary heroism can sometimes be found in the quietest of places. The Paris Library by Janet Skesley Charles. And that's the end of our little talk. those are some new books available at the library. Call us at 203-468-3890. If you'd like to borrow any of them, you can also go on our website, www.hagamanlibrary.org. So that's www.hagaman, Hagam like Mary, AN like Nancy, library, that's one word, all lowercase, .org. And you can click on catalog, and you can log into your account, and you can also look at these books there. So I hope you will do that. And I hope you've enjoyed this little talk tonight. So so please take a look at our new books. We are still they're still available by curbside pickup, and so I hope you will take a look when you get a chance, and I hope you've enjoyed this talk. So have a nice evening. Good night.